So I talked about this before on a live stream because I didn't really know what to say, and apparently, going by the way it is, because the GA will apparently, especially in Cavan, will go to do a few on basically the cashless, because at the moment, during the lockdowns and stuff like that, during when the pitches were open and stuff like that for matches, you could only pay online. You could only do it on the GA websites, etc., etc., etc. So basically, cashless. They wouldn't allow you. So the county board, the Cavan County Board, came along and said, we're not going to bring. Basically, you can't go into matches unless you pay online. And obviously, first of all, that's stupid. And then the next excuse they come out with is even stupider. They don't have the capacity to do it. And I'm just like, come again, you don't have the capacity. There's organisations that don't have the capacity to, to have the money there or the white change there for different things. Unless they're able to do it. How is the GAA not able to do this? A multi-million euro a year. Like, they get huge amount of money from the government. They have huge amount of money, obviously, for people going into matches and stuff like that. They charge too much. First of all, they do charge too much to go into matches and stuff like that. For fans, people who go in every day of the week, it's far too much. To charge them an arm and a leg to get in. It shouldn't be the price it is, to be totally honest with you. It's far too much. We have to be totally... We had to call a pen a pen. It's far too much, and especially because these people, are going to watch... It's a community event, basically, a GAA match. It's not very fair that they have to pay an arm and a leg to get in. And obviously, I talked about this on live stream, as I said. Councillor Sarah Wiley and Cavan asked the GA about this. And obviously, they give a good bit of guff to GA in Cavan about it. Because no other councillor has... Basically, I have heard nobody else ask any questions about this. Or ask why. I say a reasonable enough question. Why? Why? How do you not have the capacity? And that's the word they used. They don't have the capacity to do it. So, come again. The GA, come again, a multi-million euro a year organisation. Each county board gets a huge amount of money. They get a huge amount, and obviously, they give to a good bit of guff asking the question. And then they came out. They said they were going to do a few, the GA, but should look at it. And at the end of the article, I try and find the Anglo-South article that it was in, because I posted it under that live stream. But I get it again. I have to look through my documents to see where it was. But I did save it somewhere. Now I need to find it. But I do remember everything, and they said the more likely they're not going to do anything about it. They're going to look into it, but they're not going to do anything. Because let's be fair, they just don't care. They just don't care. The GA have to start caring a bit more about the only Joe. Because again, people can't know. Weeks in advance, am I able to go to this game next week? People at a drop of a hat could be like, I have a few minutes I have an hour or two to spare, right? On a Sunday morning, right? I go down and watch the match there. She'll look at it be Cavan Town versus Killashandra or something like that. And she'll look at I go down and I have me few bob in my pocket and I go down and I buy a ticket and go in and have a chat with some of the lads there watching the match too. Nowadays that can't happen for hundreds of years. Back even in the 50s and the 60s when the GA had literally no money. I remember even some GA pitches in Cavan. And across Ireland, there were literally more than mud fields. There were basically more mud than a field, green fields. Nowadays, we have the luxury, obviously, of paying by card and stuff like that. But, years ago, it was still able to be done. There was very little money in the country and they were still able to do it. So it doesn't make sense why people can't have the option. Again, it's all about having an option. It's not about just saying, this is the way it's going to be. And if you disagree, we're not going to communicate. We're not going to help you out, basically. That's what I take it as. Because it is not fair. It is not fair on people who can't use it. There is elderly people, I know elderly people, who simply don't know how to use it. And there's some people that don't have a bank account. And that's totally fine. But it's not fair on them individuals who don't have a bank account, who don't know how to use the internet. It's simply not fair. It's not fair. And we have to just say it outright. It's simply not fair. And it's not fair on only individuals too, that they have to trick around on the GA websites to pay for the ticket and stuff like that. Why, as simple as that, I went to a few GA matches back in the day too, and it's a simple thing. You go to the tone tie, you pay you pay whatever it is in, and you're in. It's simple as that. Nowadays you have to trick around, and you have to put in how many tickets and X, Y, and Z, your bike details and all that. It's a lot of tricking around. It's a lot of fucking around, if I may use that word, and it's unnecessary. It is unnecessary. To be totally honest. And again, it's all about, this is the thing I hate about it. It's the way that you say, this is the only way it's going to be done. If you don't like it, you can love it. People should have a choice. And I think everybody should agree. People have a choice. Should say, look at, I have time, I can go and get my ticket online. Or look at, I could go to the match on the day, and buy a ticket, But using this excuse, they don't have the capacity. the county board, is beyond a joke. Let's be fair, it is beyond a joke. Because I would like to know why. How do they have that? It's not feasible. That's the word they use instead of capacity. They use feasible. But you have to understand how. How is it not feasible? It doesn't make any sense. And it's all about this big push. And I suppose the government are trying to push this onto the GAA because obviously they give a huge amount of money to the GAA every year. And obviously too, the GAA did sell out the GAA matches to Sky and to other media companies instead of broadcasting OT, the radio television. The football matches. I maybe even when I was a child, you used to see them on radio television. OT2. Now you won't find a match for love of money. It'll be all in Sky. It's all sold out for big contracts to other countries and other media companies, not broadcast for the public. And it's all to do with money. And money at the end of the day is the driving force of all everything. And it shouldn't be the way. It should be always focused on the people. The GAA is made up of people of the community, brought together by a football match by teams. It shouldn't be all to do with money, because again, this is all kind of centered about money and all this. Like to be totally honest with you, I don't agree with it. I understand, people should have the option. Again, I understand if they said, look, we're going to bring in an online thing where you could pay online. Right, I'd be like, fair enough, and they're going to have the tone tiles where you can go in and you can pay. And I'd be like, fair enough, that's 100%. Everybody's happy, basically. Everybody's delighted. Because the people who want to pay online can pay online. Of course, that'd be the way. And then if people wanted to go in and buy the ticket on the stand, on the day, in the place, and go in and just give their cash, of course they could do that. Everybody be happy. Everybody's happy. I wouldn't be here giving out about it at the moment if that was the way. And that's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. It's just put a man on a tone tile for an hour, right? Or before the match or whatever, half an hour before the match or whatever. And he can take in whatever money and give out whatever change a person hands in if they hand in too much or whatever to get in. It's simple as that. The GAA is still making money. It's not like they're not. It's people going in and taking the money out of the box and going off with it or something like that. But it's inconceivable that the youth now we don't have the capacity. But yeah, I just want to say to Councillor Sarah Wiley, I wanted to tip my hat off to her. The only councillor in Cavan that's asked the question about this is probably the only councillor in the country I've heard ask about this. And maybe I heard one in two councillor maybe down the country actually, down in Cork, somewhere down in Cork. I heard one of them saying something once about it. But yeah, fair play to Councillor Sarah Wiley about it. Because again, if all the councillors in Cavan, all the TDs came along and said, ask questions about it, but again, they won't ask questions, half of them. And they're all like, this is unreasonable, this is unfair. For the only Joe, everybody should have a choice, do the what to pay or do the what to pay online. And everybody would be pleased. I would be pleased, and I think everybody would be pleased, because people have the option. The people can do it both ways if they want to. And that's the way it should work. You have the option of both ways. It's a simple enough thing. It's not like we're asking for the moon to literally be brought to earth on the GAA pictures. Like, we're not looking for the moon and the stars, basically. Like, it's not an unreasonable request as far as I can see. It's not unreasonable, let's be fair. If we were looking for the pyramid of Giza that we put in County Cavan or something like that, we were literally like, we're going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars, right, 100 billion euro, to get the pyramids of Giza. We're going to put them out, we're going to get a big ship, right, and we're going to lift up the pyramid of Giza. We're going to get thousands of, cranes or something like that to lift the pyramid of Giza off. Take it from Egypt and put it on a ship and bring it over to Ireland and put it in County Cavan. You'd be like, that's a bit unreasonable. Like, let's be fair, that'd be unreasonable. We're going to take the Statue of Liberty and we're going to put it in County Cavan. We're going to spend billions on it. But, that'd be unreasonable. That'd be unreasonable if somebody came along and said that. You'd be like, that's a very unreasonable. That's very expensive. But, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense in the long term. And it probably makes people more resentment than anything else. Because, people want to have a choice. Because again, as I say, some people are more, like myself too, if I go into a shop and things like that, mainly I will go in and give the cash, and if they don't accept my cash, I just walk out, as simple as that. And it never happened to me, but if somebody ever does that to me, I just leave the stuff there and be like, fuck it, I'm not coming back to use. Because I rather give me cash. I don't mind buying stuff online now and again, right? I'm okay with that, but going into the shop and put my pin in and things like that, I rather just give the cash, and it's a lot simpler, it's a lot handier for me. And the same if I was going down to a GAA match in the morning, take for example, I'd be able to go and I'd be able to give me a few bob in and be like, oh yeah, Bob's your welcome. In I go to watch the match. Not likely any time in the future I would go near it. Especially now, I wouldn't go near it now to buy a ticket online or something like that. I wouldn't go near it anyway. I'd rather be doing something productive. But yeah, let me know what you think of this, Scott, more.